America hate Meghan Markle. It's a week of the clash here on Outspoken, where we debate the biggest issues in the world. Let's go. And joining me today, royal YouTube sensation P. Diner. She says Meghan is hated. And Ernest Owens, one of the wokest men in the world. He is the author of the book The Case for Cancel Culture. So I'm going to let both of you put your case now. I'm going to shut up. P. Diner, you've got a minute. Why does America hate Meghan Markle? Go.
Essentially, Meghan Markle was afforded an amazing opportunity. The world embraced her. They loved to see the diversity of the royal family. They had hopes for Meghan to come in and to show herself to be a woman who could lead by example and do what she had to do as a woman of somewhat color, and to be that voice of reason to help young girls in America who are of color to see someone like her in this amazing institution. And when it all went wrong is where she let down essentially all the girls in America that looked up to her. She did not show herself to be someone who could follow the rules, who knew how to be upstanding in her service and duty in which she committed to. She showed herself to be someone who was all about self and not about trying to come together for the sake of her husband, who this is his family. And so
Okay,
she showed herself.
your minute is up. We will get much more into these details. But why is she wrong, Ernest? Why is it untrue? You say America presumably loves Meghan Markle or certainly doesn't hate her. What's your argument? Go.
I think most Americans don't actually care. I think there's been so much of a hyper obsession over Meghan Markle that I would argue she's not hated that much in America as many people would like to waste their time and argue on. I don't even argue that she's even the most hated person in the royal family right now. I think there are more Americans that hate Prince Andrew, rightfully so, than they hate Meghan Markle. And I think what's really been interesting is that so much of the British tabloids and press banter towards her has not given that same level of consistent scrutiny and disdain towards her than they have, let's say, others. And I think part of this has been because she is American, because she is a Black woman, because of the fact that she carries both of these identities while marrying someone like Prince Harry. And I feel as though she never was given any level of optimism from the public in the same way that others have. And I think some people.
Okay, well, your minute's up, Ernest, but there's a couple of things I'm going to pick up there immediately. Okay? Couple of things I'm going to pick up immediately. So, firstly, you say that she wasn't given love and that it's because she was a woman of color. Honestly, Ernest, I don't know if you were in
a woman of color and American.
Okay, and American. But yeah. I don't know if you were in the United Kingdom for the wedding of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I was. I've been in this country for well over 2 decades. Outside of the London 2012 Olympics, it was one of the greatest days, Ernest. The whole country came together. There were street parties. Entire communities came together. We were willing to give this woman a real try. And so I think it's completely intellectually dishonest for you to say that Brits didn't embrace Meghan to begin with, because we did. I did.
So actually what's interesting about that there were questions about, how dark her baby would be. And that was prior to conversations around willing. I think it's interesting that she said willing. Like there was already a projection, right, of like willing, as if it wasn't naturally assumed to her in the same way that Kate Middleton did. Like the idea of like we were willing to give her a chance, as if there was a presumption of a lack of innocence prior to. And I think that mindset is what kind of was a dark cloud over Markle before she even got a chance to prove who she was. I think, a nice wedding is great, right? I mean, I would hope that most of the press would be respectful during a wedding. But at the moment that she, said, I do, you can see a lot of negative clashing, rumors about issues with the family. And a lot of that drama was even happening before the actual wedding itself.
Hey, Donnie, you want to jump in?
The wedding was actually outlined.
I want to, but Ernest, you say they were willing to give her an opportunity. Yes, she was a woman that came from a very different background from the people that usually are marrying into the royal family. So of course, them saying that, that's not a racist or mean thing to say. It was they wanted to give her an opportunity to see how she was going to prove herself for this very important job, and she failed miserably. So there's nothing wrong with them saying something like that. She's completely different from the rest of these people. Okay, let's give her a chance. Let's see how she's going to do. There is nothing wrong with that. I think the royal family wanted to educate themselves on how to embrace someone like Meghan, and she was the wrong kind of woman of color to help the royal family understand diversity the way that they were trying to embrace Meghan to do that. And so Meghan was the one that failed here. And I think people just can't admit it because they want to root for the person that is like them. But hey, she's like me as well. And I'm saying she failed. And that's being honest about her behavior, her character, what she did not do. Even as a woman of color, to say that people were racist towards you, you don't just leave a job that you had committed to doing for your husband. You stay, you stick it out because you're used to people behaving a certain kind of way towards you. It doesn't make you want to leave and run away. And you know why she wanted to run away, Ernest? Because she never wanted to stay in the beginning. She always had the goal to leave. She wanted to use the royal family to help her own career, and she persuaded Harry to go, and that's what he did. And look at where we are now. You know, they're living in California. It was the plan from the beginning, and you know it, Ernest.
Ernest, why are you laughing at that?
It's delusional. I mean, the fact that, again, you listen, if you don't like Meghan Markle, that's fine. But to strip Harry of his agency, and this is a grown adult, a person who, you know, I'm trying to figure out why.
Well, no, we admit that Harry's a little bitch boy. You know, that's not the debate, is it? We're not defending Harry.
So am I having a chance to talk, or is it going to be 2-on-1? I mean,
no. Okay. You're going to get a chance. Go, Ernest.
So what I'm saying here is that I think that to assume that she's the reason why Harry left, as if there weren't problems with him in the royal family. And also, what I want to push back on is this idea that she's this ultimate problem in the family. We're going to ignore, how much grace has been extended in certain ways to Prince Andrew. I mean, you want to talk about someone who's really disrespected the royal family, who's consistently have been in controversy, who's consistently, have not really adjusted and adapted to the ways that people would argue the royal family should behave, and the way that the family has navigated these Epstein files and have really handled him with a level of respect and dignity despite this disgusting and ridiculous behavior. I would argue that Meghan Markle's presence in that family has not brought that level of shame and disgust in the ways that some of the people here are trying to allege.
Ernest, can I make a couple of points?
I didn't even say Andrew's name.
Yeah, exactly. I do. But Ernest, you've got to let me respond to that, please. Because remember, I'm the dude who has been reporting on the disgrace of Prince Andrew since 2011. Since before I even knew who Meghan Markle was. And Ernest, without people like me in the British press, no one would have seen these photos. I was working at the News of the World at the time when we got these photos. It was the fake sheikh operating in New York City, got these pictures of Epstein and Andrew. You know, at that point, Ernest, no one even knew that they were friends. So without reporting from people like me, there would be no Epstein files.
Does America hate Meghan Markle? For years, Meghan Markle has been one of the most controversial figures connected to the British royal family. Some people see her as a victim of racism, a modern woman challenging tradition. Others see her as a manipulative celebrity, the woman who divided the monarchy. But the real question is, does America actually hate Meghan Markle? Because depending on who you ask, you'll get two completely different realities. Tell me in the comments right now, do you support Meghan Markle? Yes? No? Undecided.
The wrong of Meghan Markle, and why is it giving this much air? Like, what is the wrong?
Falsely accused. Okay, you've asked a question. You've asked a question. Let me answer you very quickly. I'll answer you very quickly and you can come back. Tell you what her wrong is. She lied about racism within the British royal family, and she wanted to bring down the entire British royal family. And Ernest, earlier you spoke about the skin color debate in regards to Archie. Well, Prince Harry has pretty much admitted that was all made up now. It was all baloney. It was all lies. So she tried to accuse the British royal family of racism. That's the crime.
It is true, Ernest. He did walk it back.
So hold on. Before you become whatever you're saying here, I want to get clear. You don't get to actually tell a person of color whether or not they're experiencing racism or not. That's just the bottom line. Like, I just think that if
she
the
can
royal
just make stuff up.
Label, no, you don't get to
without
say
evidence.
Who's to say that the things that's been reported by the tabloids in the British family about Meghan is not made up? Like, I just think if you're going to accuse her of lying, right, about experiencing racism, which is the experience that she can experience as a Black person, right? That she is saying that as her experience. If you're going to deny her of that take, I don't understand how you can then turn around and justify unsubstantiated rumors about her. Either you don't.
I can tell you why.
You don't believe it. Okay, so you don't believe that she experienced racism.
Ernest, let P. Dinah come in because she hasn't had to go for a while.
She said some things that her husband told her. Meghan didn't hear these things that they said, and even if she did hear them say, because I think you're referring to whether or not they said the baby was what color the child was going to be. First of all, that's not racist to even say something like that. We all wonder what color the baby is going to be, so we're even beginning to sort of false pretense. Well, how dark? Well, whatever. What's wrong with that? Okay, dark, light, whatever. You're asking the question, what is my child going to look like? There is absolutely nothing racist about that. Okay, so there was no racism, but she was accusing the family of racism by making that statement, but it wasn't racist. Okay, that's the problem. Meghan wanted to experience racism. She wanted a reason for the royal family to give her to leave, to not want to be in that institution, but she didn't get what she wanted. That's made up. You can't tell me, Ernest, that when someone asks the question, what color is your child going to be, that is racist. Because Black people want to know too.
If you're going to talk at me, let me say this. Talking points aside, do you believe there's racism in the royal family?
I believe absolutely there has been.
Okay.
But this is the problem. But here's the problem. You can't ask that question and let me explain. Here's the thing.
I'm not stopping you.
People are racist. Black people are racist. Racist people exist all throughout the world. But what I uphold to the royal family was their willingness to embrace someone that was not like them. Their willingness to give this woman an opportunity to marry their son, okay? And she came in and she showed her butt, she showed out, and she wasn't respectful. She did everything that she could to show herself not to even be someone upstanding in character, and it really doesn't have anything to do around race. Meghan wanted it to be about race. It is all about Meghan's character and how she treated that family, Ernest, because you yourself would not allow Meghan to come into your family. You would not allow her to come into your family to disrespect your grandma, right?
What did she do? These are allegations. Like it's crazy, but again, this is such. Again, the point I'm making. So what examples? You're telling me things that's been said in tabloids. So it's easy to frame Meghan Markle as a racist, as someone who is hurting a family based on what? Like, the family barely gives a statement about anything. None of the family members have actually outright in the press accused her of any of the things that the tabloids have.
There have been a lot of accusations about Meghan.
Meghan has spoken. No. But Meghan has actually spoken on these experiences that she has faced. And so we're not to believe what she has said, but you're supposed to believe allegations that has not actually been stated by members of the royal family. By who?
Okay, well Prince William has gone on the record, Ernest. He said very clearly after the Oprah Winfrey interview that the royal family is not a racist family. That was in direct response to Meghan Markle. Now, in terms of you talking,
may vary.
And that was the statement from the late Queen. Yeah. Now, in terms of you saying,
Prince Andrew says he's not a pedophile, in
terms of you saying tabloid headlines, right, Ernest? Yes. I want to push back on that because I'm one of the guys who wrote a lot of those headlines, and I mean, you're not trying to tell me that when I revealed the story of Megxit, that's not true. So I don't know why you're doubting that, for example, I reported before anyone else that the late Queen had warned Harry about Meghan's appalling behavior, that the reason that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Meghan fell out was because of the terrible treatment and bullying of staff by Meghan at Kensington Palace.
So Meghan, so we're supposed to believe that there's not a racial bias in media? Because as the president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, I will tell you, as a Black journalist, there is racial bias in the way that people are covered. And if you think that there was no racial bias in the way that Meghan Markle was covered to some extent, even if you want to say that it wasn't with you,
wasn't.
you cannot.
There wasn't.
Why? Of course,
Ernest,
of course,
quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. And
So
this, you've got to let me explain
you're
this, Ernest.
Sure, you got two. You and your other co-hosts are dogpiling. You all have a very similar bias slate. You're not again. It's even in the panel. 2/3 of it says, look, you found the person of color that you're going to logically say, look, a Black woman says Meghan Markle's not racist, so she must not be.
No, P. Dinah's a regular on this show, Ernest.
No, I'm on here all the time, Ernest. He didn't find me just for this, okay?
P. Dinah's a regular on this show. She has been ever since my GB News show, as you were, Ernest. I was actually the first person to put you on television in the United Kingdom. No. I was before him at GB News. I was well before him at GB News, Ernest. And you should know that. Piers Morgan followed me. We can go and check the dates, okay? So why would I put someone like you on television if I was trying to shut down your point of view? I would argue that P. Dinah and I actually have very different experiences. I'm obviously not a person of color. I'm based in the United Kingdom. I'm a journalist. But what I'm trying to tell you, Ernest, is that actually quite the opposite happened within British newspapers for about 18 months. No one was actually prepared to report on the terrible behavior of Meghan Markle because they were so scared that Harry was going to accuse them of racism.
There's rumors of racism on her end too. But I'm just trying to say, what makes their opinions and their allegations against her more valid than hers? That's the question I'm going to ask.
She's been a proven liar and she brought no evidence. That's why.
And there's been a proven lie within the royal family. There has been reports the royal family has been tipping off tabloids about negative press and that they retaliate against her, where you saw a barrage of more negative press following the Oprah interview. Here's what I will do. I'm going to lead by example, right? I can believe that multiple things can be true without having to make my argument. Meghan Markle's not perfect. In many ways, just like Harry, both of them, I think, has had an excessive amount of celebrity around them in ways that I think has distracted them from the service that they can do. I can say that while also saying that in certain cases, I do feel like there was some racial bias. The problem with people on the other side of this argument is you want us to be delusional to assume that there was no harm, nothing wrong with Meghan Markle, and she's an absolute villain. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to believe that. Can you give, one fair acknowledgement? Can you give one fair acknowledgement to say that there has been some level of racial animus towards Meghan Markle?
The "she was given everything" argument. Critics say Meghan Markle had the opportunity of a lifetime. When she married Prince Harry, she became part of one of the most famous institutions on Earth. The world celebrated the wedding. People believed she represented diversity, modernization, a new era for the monarchy. But critics claim something else happened. They say Meghan didn't want to serve the royal family. She wanted to escape it and build her brand. This is where the controversy begins, because the royal family is not a celebrity platform. It's an institution built on duty, sacrifice, and strict rules. And critics argue Meghan simply wasn't willing to play by those rules. If you married into the royal family, would you follow their rules for life? Yes. Never.
Of color, when you are a dark-skinned person of color, your racism that you experience is a lot different than when you look like a white person. Now, you can't deny that, okay? Because my mother she looks like a white person. She has experienced racism completely different from someone that is dark-skinned, okay? Meghan may have experienced it, but not the way that a lot of dark-skinned Black people do experience racism at a very much higher rate, because because people have a certain way of looking at dark-skinned Black people. Meghan had the advantage of looking white, okay? So you can't tell me that she experienced racism the same way a woman of dark complexion would experience
I didn't
racism.
say that. That's called
But the
colorism.
fact is,
But
she would
colorism
have
and racism is
experienced
not
it.
the same conversation. So
She
I'm
would
not
have
going to
experienced
entertain.
it. I'm saying she would have experienced it. I'm not taking away from that. She would have experienced racism. But
Well, see,
here's the
Ernest,
thing,
I
Ernest.
think I'm going to horrify you here because I am going to tell you right now, and I know more than you, that Meghan Markle experienced no racism within the British royal family and no racism from the British press. That is my reporting.
You can't say that. That's you can speak to your reporting and that's your opinion, but you cannot speak for Great Britain.
Okay, well, that's an opinion and your opinion too. You have the opinion that she didn't experience
I said that, but I'm just willing. But she said she did, and I will be more willing to believe a Black woman's experience with some level of racism than completely to dismiss it. I think that's just disgusting. I think it's disgusting.
Has she ever said what she experienced in terms of racism besides the thing with the child and its complexion? Did she ever say anything else that she experienced around racism?
Yes. I mean, she talked about the way, not just about the royal family, she's talked about the way she's been discussed. I mean, you can even talk about the way that they have discussed her family. I mean, like you can listen, individual people can talk about what they've done to Meghan Markle and say, hey, I didn't do a thing to her. But to try to act as if there has been no racial level of racism in the coverage of her by some members of the British press. I didn't say
Ernest,
all.
do you know who's been trashed most? You've just raised Meghan Markle's family. Do you know who's been trashed when it comes to Meghan Markle's family? The white side of her family. Her loving father, Thomas Markle. Her loving half-brother, Thomas Markle Jr. Her loving half-sister, Samantha Markle. I have heard terrible anti-white racism spoken about these three. I've heard people describe them as white trailer trash, Ernest. So actually, there's been more anti-white racism.
So you haven't heard any of those. So you haven't heard any racial epithets said about Meghan Markle.
I genuinely haven't.
Don't lie, Dan. Don't lie, Dan.
What are you talking about? Like people trolling online, or are you talking about people in the real world, in my actual life,
like the press,
people on television? Because I think you can find trolls who say vile things all the time.
There are very racist things that has been said in the comment sections, in the press, in articles.
Give me an
online.
example, Ernest.
I mean, where do I begin? I mean,
well, go on. Just give me one.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to do this right now. Right now. I'm going to just do it right now because I want to just show you in real time. Look up racist British press against Meghan Markle and see what comes up. There's articles about the press. Just saying. Like, I want you to just do it.
Harry accused. No. Well, I know the two examples. And I claim that they're both not racist. So I know because I know this because I lived this.
Right. So then, why are you acting like it is a foreign concept?
Well, no, because they're not. Can I just give you the two examples?
If you don't believe it, it's fine. But there has been coverage about this.
Well, no, let me give you the two examples, and I'll explain why I don't believe they were racism. So one was racial. One was Rachel Johnson, who was the former sister to the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And there was a headline in the Daily Mail which said, Meghan is straight out of Compton. That was the first. Right. And then the second was...
I don't think that's racist. Make an excuse.
Wait a minute. Can I just push back? That's not really racist because when you look at where she lived, it was not far from Compton. I used to live there. What's wrong with being out of Compton?
Okay.
What's wrong with that, Ernest?
Again, but you know what the reference to, right? You don't know where straight out Compton is?
I do know where it came from.
Where it came from?
And you know what she should have done? She said, and that's right. She should have embraced
where did it come
that's
from?
right.
Where did it come from?
You know why? Because she said that. She didn't say anything about it because she saw it as racist, but it's not racist.
Listen, be an apologist. I get your shtick. You're going to find every way to deny racism.
I am not denying racism. I'm not denying it.
Then you can't say...
Ernest, I don't know if you know P. Dinah's background, but P. Dinah actually started, Ernest, as a pro Meghan Markle YouTuber. She wanted to help her,
and she's got a bigger following being anti-Meghan. Let me tell you right now.
Not true. You're assuming things about me.
No. I'm saying your following has increased since you've disliked Meghan Markle. You're
You don't
getting
know
more.
why. You have no
You
evidence to
no.
say why my audience increased because
And
of
you
what I
can't be
speak
able to
about.
say, and you can't be able to say why the press and people do not like Meghan Markle and deny the role of race. There.
I can
See
say that
there.
there was one instance of racism, and it's the one that Dan is getting ready to tell you
So
now.
you're
That's the
saying,
only one.
so you're saying Strata Compton is the racist one or not?
I don't believe it is
Okay. So what is the
because
one that
she didn't live
Dan?
far from Compton. Do you know where her mother lived?
So Dan, what's the thing that you believe that she believes is racist that you're going to deny
Well,
is racist?
there was a BBC radio presenter called Danny Baker. I don't know if this is the example that you were thinking of, P. Diner, and he posted I think it was some type of animal.
Photo? Yes, a monkey.
Yeah,
the
a
two
monkey
people holding the monkey.
holding the baby, and it was when
Yes.
Meghan had left hospital.
Oh,
And
Yes, and that's racist.
well, he said that he had absolutely, I mean, he was sacked by the BBC, but he said that
Yeah,
he just thought it was a
should
cute
have.
picture and that there was absolutely no correlation between using that
do you
animal.
believe him, Dan? Do you believe him, Dan?
I don't know. I don't know what's in his heart. I don't know Danny
Get out
Baker.
of here. Get out of here.
I believe it was
Get out of
racist.
here.
But
Get outta
Ernest, I do
here.
believe it was racist. But here's the
Okay.
thing: he was sacked. Imagine had he not lost his job for doing that.
Oh, I'm not agreeing with it. He should have.
Okay.
But again, it's the point I'm making, Dan. You can't even if you wanted to dismiss the subtleties or the rumors of racism, you can't even in a fair conversation acknowledge the correlation between monkey. Okay, you want to say Strata Compton can't be racist? What a coincidence that they're making a comparison to a rap lyric and a song from a group called NWA, and I wonder what the NWA means. And again,
So this was the meme that he posted. Royal baby leaves hospital. That was the meme.
Monkey. And you just don't think there could be no sense. We literally just had an issue in the United States. I don't know where you was at, where Trump was sharing a meme of Barack and Michelle Obama.
Oh, I saw the racist.
As apes.
I have no problem saying
that was in reference to the Lion King, even though there were no apes in the Lion King. And you're telling me that the British family in this way showing a monkey as a child, and it is involving an interracial couple, that there is no racial correlation there.
I didn't say that.
No, I know you didn't say it because you know. Now you know.
I know.
And so I'm wondering, Dan, you couldn't be fair enough to just acknowledge if you can say that her father, who's a white man, experienced anti-white racism. You can't even be able to say on your show that even that exists. That example,
because he denied it, and I don't know what's in his heart. And actually, I don't know Danny Baker.
You know what? So then we're going to be obtuse then. I'm so disappointed, Dan. Like, okay, everything else.
You can be disappointed, but I don't throw around false allegations because I actually think there is a huge danger in branding people racist.
Dan, you just did. You just said that her father's experienced more racism than she has. You said anti-white racism. You have accused people.
And I gave an example of that. White trash,
and I just gave you an example, and you're denying it.
Trailer park.
And children as monkeys. Black women's children as monkeys. And you're saying that that's not racist. Disgusting. That was in the press.
I'm not saying that.
You're denying that. Someone got fired for it. And what? You're just going to say, I don't know what's in their heart?
I don't know.
That's ridiculous, Dan.
He absolutely strongly denied it. I want to actually try and find his denial. Let me just try and find his denial.
Disappointing.
Well, you've just called someone racist.
Yes, it's racist to depict children as monkeys. Black women's children as monkeys. Yes, that's racist. Is it not?
I'm just trying
to. Because of the history, my husband is
not something I would do.
There's a lot of things in history that depicts Black people as monkeys, so I can see the correlation to what that would really mean, and I do see it as racist. Now, maybe he is apologetic, maybe he didn't know. Okay, but he should acknowledge
Trump's intention.
I'm talking about the press, gentlemen, not the Trump instance, but I'm just saying that you should acknowledge that you had no idea that was racist. Okay, I believe he did, but we know that is considered racist. So, I mean, that's one out of how much positive press coverage.
And just to explain what the point that Danny Baker made, and I just feel like, given you have accused him of racism, I have to do my due diligence, right? And allow his response, even just for legal reasons. What he said is that he would have used the same stupid picture for any other royal birth or Boris Johnson's kid or even one of my own. It's a funny image, though, of course not in that context. Enormous mistake, for sure, grotesque. Anyway, here's to you, Archie. Sorry, mate. And he said of the tweet, ill-advised, ill-thought out and stupid, but racist, no. I'm aware how delicate the imagery is. So that's what Danny Baker said in response.
You're giving grace. So you know what I'm not going to do? Allow you to sit up here and have a double standard right now. You're giving so much grace to something that, again, I'm saying what he did was racially offensive. I'm saying that that imagery is racist.
Well, that's a different word. That's a different word. Racially offensive is a different term, Ernest.
It is racist. But you went out your way to say that, I guess for you, images of people making correlations to Black women having babies that are monkeys.
No, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to force. No. I'm not going to have you force me into deriding someone who I don't know as racist. Now, if you say that was a racially offensive picture, that is another story. I can understand that, but I am going to believe
whatever coddles you. So then we'll say that Meghan Markle has experienced racial insensitivity. Can we agree with that?
The racism accusation that shook the monarchy. Everything changed during the explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey. Meghan revealed that someone in the royal family had concerns about how dark their baby's skin might be. Their son, Archie Mountbatten Windsor. This allegation shocked the world. Suddenly, the monarchy faced accusations of racism. The debate. Supporters said the royal family must confront racial bias. Critics said the clan was exaggerated or misinterpreted. And this moment split public opinion globally. What do you think? Is asking about a baby's skin color racist? Comment. Yes? No? Depends. Media bias or media scrutiny? Another major part of the debate is the British media. Some journalists argue Meghan received normal scrutiny. Others say the coverage crossed a line. Examples discussed include controversial headlines, offensive imagery posted online, tabloid attacks on her family. Supporters say this proves racial bias existed. Critics say Meghan used racism accusations to avoid criticism. The truth might be uncomfortable for both sides. Two things can be true at the same time. Some criticism may have been unfair. Some accusations may have been exaggerated. But the controversy keeps growing because the story involves race, power, monarchy, celebrity culture. The Prince Andrew comparison. One debater raises an explosive point. He argues Americans dislike Prince Andrew far more than Meghan Markle. Why? Because of the scandal involving Jeffrey Epstein. This raises a powerful question. Why is Meghan blamed for damaging the monarchy when far bigger scandals exist? Let me know your opinion. Who damaged the royal family more? Meghan Markle? Prince Andrew? The real reason Meghan Markle is so polarizing. Meghan Markle represents something bigger than just a royal story. She sits at the intersection of race, feminism, celebrity, monarchy, media politics. That combination creates a perfect storm of controversy, and controversy drives attention. Love her or hate her, she dominates headlines. So the real question may not be, does America hate Meghan Markle? The real question might be, why does Meghan Markle trigger such strong reactions everywhere she goes? Because very few people in modern history have divided public opinion quite like her. Comment below. Are you Team Meghan? Team Royal Family? Like the video, subscribe for more royal drama breakdowns.